You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Russ RIesinger. Tonight, local businesses making plans in hopes that Montana doors will soon open. Business owners and employees across the state are chomping at the bit to get back to work. Governor Bullock's stay-at-home order is set to expire Friday, and it's anyone's guess about how the plan to reopen the state will move forward. Yellowstone County restaurants, bars, and casinos will have to submit a plan to the health department before serving customers. Q2's Mitch Legge brings us more details.
Before Yellowstone County restaurants, bars, casinos, and wineries can open again to the public, they'll have to fill out a social distancing form to be completed and turned in to the health department. The restaurant's social distancing plan has been available to fill out since March 18th. At the Billings City Council meeting last night, Yellowstone County Health Officer John Felton said that about 50% of the county's restaurants had filled out and completed the plan. Now, this plan does not have to be completed by other non-food related businesses like retail and gyms, because the health officer does not license those establishments.
The other types of organizations don't need to complete any sort of plan. We're providing them guidance on things to think about, but the plan actually only applies to the food service establishments.
Felton said that even if the governor says restaurants are okay to open, he as the health officer still has the authority to keep them closed if he sees a significant public health risk. Reporting at home in Billings, Mitch Legge, MTN News.
Thank you, Mitch. If you're a business owner who needs to fill out a social distancing plan, information can be found at riverstonehealth.org. Governor Steve Bullock is expected to reveal some changes to Montana's stay-at-home order at a news conference tomorrow. After almost 4 weeks of life-altering directives, we could see some easing of those restrictions put into place that were put into place to prevent and control COVID-19. Non-essential businesses were ordered to cease operations back on March 26th. Most activities were prohibited. The time for Bullock's news conference is yet to be announced. We will let you know when we know, and we'll also broadcast it live on air and online. 4 new cases of COVID-19 reported across the state today, including one here in Yellowstone County. This brings the state total to 437 confirmed cases across Montana. More than half of those people have recovered, 273. 14 people are reported hospitalized, and so far, 12 Montanans have died. Well, 5 of those victims, residents of Toole County, Montana, where COVID-19 struck an assisted living facility. Today, an honor flight flew over the town of Shelby to honor those victims. The pilot flew over the town and circled 5 times, 1 lap for each of the community members who passed away. I Fly Big Sky out of Helena also posted on its Facebook page thanking the American Legion and the VFW in Shelby for placing flags out on the courthouse lawn. A spokesperson for Marias Medical Center says seeing the town of Shelby come together was inspiring.
You know, it was a memorable moment for Toole County. It really granted us some time to unite underneath the blue skies, to remember those who we lost, hope for those who are still fighting, and also to express gratitude for those who have recovered.
In Wyoming, COVID-19 has now claimed the lives of 4 members of the Northern Arapaho tribe. This brings the state total to 6 deaths. All 4 had been hospitalized in central Wyoming. The state now has 322 confirmed cases. That is still the lowest total across the United States. Well, officials at Yellowstone National Park, like everyone else it seems, are taking a look at the same question. What's it going to take to reopen? MTN's John Shear takes a closer look.
Yellowstone National Park is 2.2 million acres of mostly wilderness. It seems like it would be easy to reopen for a public itching for a wide open place to roam.
You end up having a large population of people that come to the park, and they don't just spread out.
Park Superintendent Cam Shawley points to the most popular parts of the park, like Old Faithful and Mammoth Hot Springs.
You know, that last weekend I mentioned before we closed, there were people, a massive number of people here at the Mammoth Terraces.
Shawley says he doesn't know if that will change when the park reopens, but what about all that wilderness?
Being in the backcountry Yellowstone will probably be one of the best places to be in this country during this summer.
Saley wants access for his guided horse trips. Shawley says that a van load of 15 people may not work out this summer.
You know, maybe it's got to be 2 vans now.
Shawley emphasized that when the park closed, it was done at the insistence of neighboring communities like Gardner, Cook City, and West Yellowstone. And he says it was not just to protect the public and park employees, but also members of those communities.
You know, there might be a way to ease into this and not just have like full open, normal, overwhelming amount of people coming in right away.
Though he refuses to commit to specific dates, Shawley suggests the park could open in phases beginning in just a few weeks.
That might mean that we don't do hotels initially. Maybe it's all cabins.
A park entry by reservation only was suggested. Shawley says that's on the table, but he just can't forget that last weekend the park was open.
Before we closed, I would suggest that there was a large number of people that were completely either obtuse or ignoring social distancing guidelines.
Shawley promises close cooperation with health departments in neighboring counties on any reopening decision. In Bozeman, John Shearer, MTN News.
And Yellowstone lodging concessionaire Xanterra announced in March it would open for the season on May 22nd, but now the company says it's reevaluating that date. Well, COVID-19 is changing the way real estate agents do business, but it hasn't stopped houses from being bought and sold. The pros say there are some enticing reasons to buy or sell right now, and they're optimistic that the local market will rebound quickly from any COVID-19 cool down that might happen. Buying or selling a home may seem like the last thing on many people's minds during the COVID crisis, but broker Brian Gentry says it hasn't slowed business like you might expect, although it has changed it.
It's really changed it. It went from, for me, especially as a handshake business, to I can't shake anybody's hand anymore. I've got to stay 6 feet away from them.
Everything that can be done by a computer is done that way. Virtual tours have taken the place of open houses, and when a house is shown, special precautions are taken.
And we can go out, we can meet with 2 clients, 1 agent, tour a home, wearing our masks, sanitizing anything we may touch with Clorox disinfecting wipes, and so forth.
Gentry believes that some sellers may be more hesitant right now to list their homes.
Our inventory is down a little bit, so we're down from last year. And so we would like to see more inventory in our market. There are buyers out there waiting to buy.
Deb Parker is president of the Billings Association of Realtors.
If it drags on for longer, are you concerned about what effect it might have?
Well, obviously it could impact us as it does other businesses in our community. But overall, I think Billings as a whole can weather this fairly well. And as long as we get to see those people employed again, I think we'll move along in our market very easily.
And not only is it a good time for sellers with the inventory being low here in the market, but one thing going for buyers is that interest rates are as low as they've been in some time. Well, as you can catch all of the stories in the Rebound series on our website, KTDQ.com. We'll be running Rebound stories every weekday as we highlight the efforts of Montana businesses as they get back on their feet. Authorities have tentatively identified the pilot killed yesterday in a fiery plane crash just north of Billings, but are still waiting for dental records for confirmation. The FAA arrived in Billings yesterday afternoon to begin their investigation. Well, other investigators arrived this morning. That twin-engine plane went down around 10 yesterday morning after the pilot took off from the Billings-Logan International Airport, crashed on the property of the Billings Rod and Gun Club, burst into flames, and sent dark black smoke into the sky above. Oil industry leaders say the dramatic drop in crude oil prices over the last few weeks is already impacting producers here in Montana. Montana Petroleum Association Executive Director Alan Olson says the current price downturn is the worst he's seen in decades. In north central Montana, crude oil prices have fallen from $54 a barrel to $14 a barrel. Olson says several companies have shut in wells and laid off workers across the state. The drop in price comes as travel and demand for fuel have dropped substantially. As a result, there's no longer enough space to store all the oil that's being produced.
We're not going to quit pumping oil. I mean, that's just not going to happen. There again, it's economics. People have obligations that they need to pay. But you can definitely expect oil production to drop precipitously over the next few months.
Olson said a major drop in production will mean a large hit to the state budget, from production taxes to royalties on state mineral leases and income taxes on companies and workers. Still to come on tonight's 9 o'clock news. If you're craving something colorful and fresh, and you'll want to stick around for Takeout Tuesday. But first, Bob's in next with your full forecast.